Hello everyone, this is Daniel Sizowitz, or Mr. C. This video is for 5th grade music students, and by the time you're done with this video, you will be able to open and run the program Staff Wars, and use it to practice reading and identifying notes on the treble clef staff. And you'll also be able to use it to practice identifying and playing those treble clef notes on your recorder. So let's begin. First, we just need to open up Staff Wars by double-clicking the icon on the desktop. Now, this program does have some fun sounds, but for purposes of this demo, I'm going to mute those sounds by clicking this symbol here. That way you can better hear me speaking during this demonstration. Before we begin playing Staff Wars, there's a couple things we'll need to do. First, we want to click on this yellow treble clef symbol all the way on the left. After I do that, we will begin to see an image appear right down here that says Range Original. Next, I need to click on this button 4 times to get the range we want. 1, 2, 3, 4, until it looks like this. And now that I've done that, I'm only going to see notes appearing up here that we've already learned in class, which is just what we want. So I'm ready to begin. I can click Start. Now once I do that, you'll begin to notice notes appearing up here on this staff. My job is to figure out what note that is, and then identify it by clicking on its name right down here. So I know that this note right in the middle of the staff is a B, so I'm going to click on B. And my little spaceship zaps the note and destroys it, which is just what I want. Here's a C, I'll click on C. Same thing again. And there's more than one way to do this as well. Rather than clicking on these buttons here with my mouse, I can just click on the correct letter name on my computer keyboard. So I know that this note is an F, I'll just click F on my keyboard. And it works as well. There's a G, I will click G on my keyboard. And so on and so forth. Now, over here on this end of the staff, we see this green blinking line. If I'm too slow or I can't figure out what note this is in time, eventually that note is going to hit that green line, and let's see what happens once it does. Ah! A terrible explosion! And I've lost one of my 3 lives. The same thing will happen if I accidentally identify the note incorrectly. For example, this note is an A, but if I click on E, uh-oh, another explosion, I've lost another life. However, if I'm correct and I identify that this is an E and an A and so on and so forth, eventually I will level up and it's going to start going faster. There, it says level up at the top of the screen, and you can see this note is already moving faster. So that's how to play this version of Staff Wars. But wait, there's more. If I close this version of Staff Wars, I can open a second version down here, Staff Wars version 2, by clicking on it right there. This version of Staff Wars will actually allow me to practice with my recorder. Let's give it a second to open.
Select your mission.
There we go, love that voice. Now you'll notice right away when this program opens that there's this little Staff Wars audio box right here. And you can see that when I'm speaking, these little green lines appear here. That's showing me that my computer microphone is listening to me. It can hear my voice. It can hear my recorder too. I've got my recorder right here in my hands, and if I play a few notes, it's showing that it can hear that recorder. Now, I'd like it to be able to hear a little bit better. We kind of want to get these lines going up to about here, not all the way to the top, but close to the top of this little level box. So I'm going to go over here where it says gain and drag it up to about there and try again playing some recorder notes. That's pretty good, maybe even a little bit too high. I'll bring it down a little. But that's much better. Wonderful. Once I've done that, I can click away from that box, and I'm ready to play the game. I'll make it full screen just for fun. Wonderful. First thing I need to do before I can play is select the instrument. There's lots of instruments to choose from, but we are all working on our recorders. So I'm going to scroll down to where it says recorder and click on that. Next, I get to choose the range of the notes I want to play. So far, we've learned how to play, the lowest note we've learned how to play is an E, so I'll drag this all the way down to E. And the highest note we've learned how to play is a C, so I'm going to drag this to C. And since we know how to play all the notes in between, this will give us only notes that we already know how to play on the recorder. Over here it says C major. I'm just going to leave that alone. 25 notes, that's fine. Speed, you can choose whatever speed you want. It goes from 1 all the way to 20, and the higher the number you choose, the faster and more challenging it's going to be. I'm going to start at level 5. Not too quick, but we'll just see how that goes. You can choose any speed that's comfortable for you. I'll click on Start. Now, once I click this Start button, once again I'm going to start seeing notes appearing. But this time, there's no buttons for me to click on, and clicking on the notes on my keyboard isn't going to work either. Instead, I have to play the notes that I can see on my recorder. Let's give it a try. What note is that? It's a B, so I will play a B on my recorder. And the computer can hear me, and it zaps the note. There's an F. There's a G. And we get the idea. Now, if I'm not covering the holes all the way, I get a squeak and it can't tell what note I'm playing. And oh no, it will get to the end and there's an explosion, I lose a life. Same thing if I blow too hard. I'll get a squeak and it won't recognize it. So make sure that we're blowing nice gentle air and that our fingers are all the way covering the holes so we get a good sounding note that the computer can hear. Perfect, there's a G. And so on and so forth. And that's it, my friends. That's how you play Staff Wars. Thank you so much.